The silent, loving witness, the space within. You are the space in which your thoughts, your emotions, your entire life occurs. With that in mind, we can understand what the silent, loving witness is, the space within. Witnessing is simply watching, no more, no less. Witnessing keeps you in that space that you are. When you just look at your emotions and thoughts as they pass through, without attaching to or resisting to any of those thoughts or emotions, your consciousness is effortlessly aware of and fully comprehends all that it sees. This is the path to awakening. To understand how this works, let's try an experiment. Wherever you might be right now, look around you quickly. Just glance at everything in front of you for not more than a second, maybe 2 seconds max. Have you done that? Good. Now, notice that with a single glance, you instantly saw the full detail of everything that is around you, near and far. This happened effortlessly. You even captured the details, the shapes, the colors, even the grain of the wood, the contours of the flower, the threads on the carpet, the variations of light and shade, and much more. You even captured the smells, feelings, sounds, all at once, effortlessly. No thoughts were necessary, you just captured it all. Now, for the next part of this experiment, try to use thoughts to isolate, to label, and to describe all the intricate details of what you just saw, what you smelled, what you felt about it. That would be impossible, right? No amount of words can describe in detail the sensations, all that you saw. And even if you could somehow do it, it would take you forever just to describe one flower in its total detail, including its emotional effect and its essence. And for the final part of the experiment, notice that certain things seemed to hold your attention more. They were calling you to stare at them, to focus on them. Certain things seem to grab your focus, to grab the voice in your head in such a way that you felt compelled to label and categorize them, and even to identify them, to judge them, to hold on to them, or even to get rid of them. And certain other things didn't. This experiment proves to you that you are not your thoughts or emotions. These are simply phenomena that you are aware of. You are instead the witness that is able to be aware of everything. When you identify with what you are aware of, you become possessed by what you are aware of. You become identified with form. And thoughts and emotions, by the way, are forms, just like a cat or a tree is a form, an object. When you don't identify with forms that you are aware of, whether these forms are thoughts or emotions or trees or cats or otherwise, you remain as the witness. This experiment also proves to you that the essence of consciousness is awareness, and awareness is able to select what to be more or less aware of. In other words, awareness can focus. It can hold attention. It can get stuck in what it focuses on, even. When phenomenon hits your awareness, but your awareness does not choose to focus on it, that phenomena just passes by and leaves your consciousness free. However, when phenomena hits your awareness and you choose to focus on it, that phenomena seems to stick in your mind and your emotional system. And the more that you focus on it, the more it sticks, until finally you even make the mistake of identifying with it. You attach "I am" statements to it, because now you cannot even see the space between. You forget who you really are. The only difference between a conscious-centered, unfuckwithable being and a person who is unconscious and mired in suffering and victimization is simply the focus of their awareness. That is all. I'll say that again because it's very important. The only difference between a conscious-centered, unfuckwithable being and a person who is unconscious and mired in suffering and victimization is simply the focus of their awareness. That is all. Let's say that one more time because it's so important to get this. The only difference between a conscious, centered, unfuckwithable being and a person who is unconscious and mired in suffering and victimization is simply the focus of their awareness. That is all. When you start to explore consciousness instead of identifying yourself with forms, whether these forms are thought forms or emotions or actual objects, you realize that your consciousness, your selfhood, only appears to be small and limited because you are focusing on small and limited objects. That is a secret. Instead of just focusing so intently on yourself and your few small limited objects, on your limited thoughts and emotions and things, you can instead choose to pull back and sit in the seat of the silent witness, which is the seat of the soul, and see everything. You would have, in that simple movement, moved from the finite to the infinite. Now, I like the example Michael Singer gives in his book, The Untethered Soul, whereby he says, I quote, "It's like you've been on the couch watching TV, but you are so totally immersed in the show that was on the television that you forgot where you were. And then somebody shook you, and now you're back to the awareness that you're sitting on the couch watching TV. Nothing else changed. You simply stopped projecting your sense of self onto that particular object of consciousness, in this case, the TV show. You woke up." That is spirituality. That is the nature of the self. That is who you are. You realize that you're not who you thought you were. You're not even a human being. You just happen to be watching a human being. You just happen to be watching one. You just happen to be watching yourself. A human experience. But you're not the human being. And once awakened, you're free to change the channel on the TV or to just turn off the TV and do something else outside in the vast, wide world. I'll say that again. You realize that you're not who you thought you were. You're not even a human being. You just happen to be watching one. Once awakened, you are free to change the channel.